What's up, everybody? This is the $400 boat. So when I got it, the guy was like, yeah, I couldn't start it up this spring. It didn't have any spark. He was just really frustrated with it. He said they replaced a bunch of stuff, which makes sense. Like, this power pack is new, the stator is new, the trigger is new. And then like a bunch of the wiring here has obviously been replaced. So he was just frustrated. He wanted to get rid of it. He sold it to me for $400, which he was asking $5. I offered him $4 and he said, okay. But I mean, that was a steal. The trailer alone is probably worth like $600-700. So yesterday, I was like, all right, it doesn't have any sparks. So I come over here, I do this. I just zip tie the power pack to the motor and then unplug the main lead to the controls. And most of the old outboards, pretty much all the old outboards, when you disconnect the main lead, they will run. So they will spark and run if you disconnect the main lead. So by doing that, you can see if your problem is at the controls or on the motor. So like, if you disconnect this and you have spark, then that probably means it's either your key switch, your kill switch, or the neutral safety switch on the shifter. So that's what happened. I unplugged this and it was sparking just fine. So I was like, wow, this guy replaced all this stuff, didn't even look at the shifter up here. And then what I found was the little kill switch right here. It's just a little knob, little toggle switch that comes down. That was open. So it was shut off. It was like the kill switch had been pulled and it wouldn't let any spark get to the motor. So I flipped that up and boom, it worked fine. And then I took it out yesterday. It was running great. And then it started to kind of, I was going fast, probably for like 30 minutes, slowed down. And then it was running like shit and it died. And then it would not start back up. It was backfiring out of the bottom of the motor, like whoa, 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 whoa. And then you could see like the flames come out of the prop even. And that is kind of indicative of a spark issue, a timing issue. So anyway, yeah, it died out on the water, couldn't get back. There's no boats out there this time of year. So I had my mom come over with this little 4.5 horsepower, which runs amazing. And I just threw it on the back, held her wide open, and putted back to the boat ramp. I did dent the tank a little bit, which sucks, but oh well, casualty. So anyway, I'm looking at it today, and after a little research, like the backfiring and everything is an ignition spark issue, so the timing's off. So I pulled out all the plugs, and all the plugs are firing, all the plugs are sparking, so it has spark, but it just wasn't lining up right. Like, a good tip is if you're out on the water with an old outboard like this and it dies, if you can get the air box off, disconnect the line from here and open the air box up, hold the throttle wide open so the butterflies are all the way open, and then put your thumb over the end of the line and squeeze and make like a shot of gas and shoot it in each cylinder just to prime it. And if it doesn't fire like that, then you know you got a bigger issue, spark or compression. Maybe you blew the engine. So I was doing that and it wouldn't fire. It would just backfire. So that told me, and then I was able to get the plugs out and they smelled like gas, but they were sparking. So Anyway, I pulled it off today, and these Mercuries, like the 115s, the 70s, they like to back off the flywheel nut. So when I pulled it off, the flywheel nut was loose, and then closer inspection, you can see here. Sorry, the light is really bad, but you can see there the pin. What's it called? The keyway pin there is sheared off on the shaft. So, and then I had like the other half of it in here on the spline in there. So basically the motor was spinning free of the flywheel and screwing up all the timing for the motor. But yeah, if you have one of these Mercuries, check the nut on the top, get a big breaker bar in the right socket, and just really crank it down. Because this is the second motor that I've had where the nut backs off and then the flywheel is loose on there, and it sounds like like the bearings are going in your motor. But it's just the nut at the top of the flywheel, and that probably that play in there probably caused this to break off. So yeah, hopefully get a new pin in there. I have one from these motors over here. Same idea. This is a 70, same thing. Also, at the bottom of the stators, if yours has an original stator, these wires rub right up against the block, and a lot of times they chafe and short out, and then you'll have no spark or ignition issues. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. And yeah.